Hi, it's Jared again with LearnToWinTrading.com. I wanted to go over a little lesson I've learned while I've been trading. I like to call this picking up the scraps. I think there's a stigma in day trading that if there's a good trader, a lot of people tend to think that they have something special, some sort of gift that not a lot of other people have. And that may come from the statistics that I think say something like 95% of traders end up failing. Well, I can see why that could be. I think most of it is because the most part of trading actually is more psychological than it is what you know how to trade, but that's for another video. The thing I wanted to talk about today is the important perspective I think it is to have when you are a day trader, or for most people with KISS system coming as students learning to trade. And that is that there are big fish and there are little fish in the markets. The big fish, or the big players, are those boys at Wall Street with the enormous capital, the intellect, the knowledge, the experience, that when they make trades they actually end up moving the market. Then there are small fish like me who trade and make a little bit of money each day from home. And there's a difference. When the markets move, my little trade isn't going to really affect where the market's taking the price. It really doesn't do anything at all to it. It's just there. I'm just one of the thousands and thousands of variables in the market moving the price. And when the market moves, I don't necessarily need to understand why it's moving the way it's moving. That's one thing that I think a lot of people kind of get caught up on, is trying to understand why the market's moving the way it moves. You don't really need to. I think that the trick I'm trying to say here is that you have to be able to develop an understanding and recognize where the big boys are taking the market first. And when you can understand where the big boys are taking the market, then you can come in and scoop up or pick up some of the scraps. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the market today, and I thought this was a good example. It moved a little bit interesting today because there was news affecting the market, and that was that they were voting on the bailouts today. And you can't really tell here in the morning. This is the first hour in the morning, but I'll show you in a little bit what was happening today. Well, my first trade was right here, and I took this trade. I made about 1.5 points off of this trade. It ran more than that, but I understood some things here that helped me with this trade. Number one, I saw that there was a trend, okay? That the big boys were taking this market up. And when I saw a signal, I entered that signal and I scooped up a little bit of the pieces, even though I didn't have to make all that was available on that trade. Some of the others in the Traders Club made a trade right here. I didn't take this one actually, but they made this trade here, and I know one in particular made 2 points off this trade, which was pretty good. But of course it moved much more than 2 points. What he saw was the trend moving, that the big boys were taking the market up. He saw the signal, entered, and made or picked up some of the scraps off of that trade. There was another trade right here. Several in the Traders Club made that one, going down, and once again they just took off some of the scraps of where the big boys were playing and taking the market. Here was another one, a great one. I saw this trade happening, and I did not take this trade. Don't really remember the reasons, except that I didn't get in. I might have missed it. But this was one that Scott Walker took and ended up making 4 points off of. Now, to me, 4-point trade is a home run, and he does that consistently. But I was pleased because I did take this one here, and I scooped up a good 3 points off of this trade. So, and of course, this trade, you can't see it in this chart, but it ran much further than this. But this chart shows and demonstrates 2 points that I'd like to make. One, for people who are not maybe so much familiar with futures contracts, the opportunity is there to make money whether the market goes up or down. So even in an economy like today, when the market tends to go down a lot, the opportunity is still there to make money. Number two, this is the point I'm trying to make today. Looking at this chart, the KISS system signals first teach you how to identify where the big boys are taking the market. And once you know where they're taking the market, then you can look for those signals and make your trade, and just scoop up some of the pieces. Hypothetically, let's say you were able to trade this first hour in the morning, and you just took 1 point off of each of these trades. You didn't have to hit the home run and make the 4-point winning trade of the day, but you just scooped up 1 point on each of these in an hour's worth of work. Alright? So if you were to do that, you would have made 5 points today. At one contract in an hour's worth of work, that's $250. That's not too bad. But the goal here with trading is that as you're able to, I guess, start out with 1 and then grow your trading account, you can add more contracts. As you add more contracts, you start multiplying your profit for the day. So if you were able to do the same thing today, making 5 points, trading 10 contracts, well, that would then be a profit of $2,500 in an hour's worth of work. That is pretty good for a small fish, I'd say. You don't have to understand what the big boys are doing or why they're making their decisions. You don't have to be one of the big players in the market. If you can understand first where the big boys are taking the market, and then come in and consistently scoop up some of those pieces. Let me show you the chart today just so I can show you some of the potential that today has. Now let me just tell you, today wasn't a normal day because the news really was affecting. It kind of felt like a Fed day today, as if they were making a federal interest rate announcement. But okay, well, here's where I made my 3 points, and you can see obviously how far that actually ran. Sometimes a day like today might drive you crazy that you didn't make more money. Like here, for example, if you look how far that dropped, and again and again, and that was actually probably the majority of the movement today going on. And of course, you got little valleys and hills going on here. Whoa, messed up my chart there. Okay, so that's about the end of the day. But my point is, it's not difficult to scoop up those little scraps in the day. You're going to find the opportunities are there. Alright, they are there. And if you can be consistent in identifying where those trends are that the big boys are playing, then you can come in and scoop up some of those scraps. And that's the trick to being a successful day trader as a small fish like me. I thought it was interesting. Hope you did too. If you did, come visit my website, learntowintrading.com, and shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you. Well, until then, have a wonderful day.